Hello and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron. And as always, the show is sponsored by Tees and Trees Clothing. Tees and Trees is where we stand on business. Good morning, good evening, no matter where you are. Salute. What's going on, man? I hope everybody's had a great week, great weekend. I don't think I've dropped an episode in about a week or so. First round is officially over in the NBA playoffs, in case you were wondering if you're new to the channel. That's what we on right now. I do need to do a draft episode, but it's just not football time, and I'd rather do it with somebody else. So we're going to wait on football. But had some interesting developments this weekend. Recently started working out again. If you checked out the last podcast, down 10 pounds. It's great. Feel better, sleeping better, eating better. So, let's see how long this will last. Got my son a car this weekend. Not just me and my wife. Shout out to her. It was a pretty amazing moment to see him be able to get a whip going into his senior year next year. Want to make sure he's prepared and, has everything he needs. So that was a pretty good dope. That was a dope feeling. Really dope feeling. But enough of the mushy stuff, man. Let's just talk some cold, hard NBA talk. First up, let's go over my record so far. On game to game, I finished at 17-11. I didn't do the last two games, or the 2 days of games, which is yesterday and today. I think and Friday, just because it was down to like one series left, and at that point, there's no point of just picking the games. But 17-11. As far as the series, what I dropped for my subscribers who actually watch the podcast, I took the Bucks. That was an L. I took the Lakers. That was an L. Everything else. Oh, and I took Philly. That was an L too. So 5-3. 5-3. I called the Mavs. I called the Celtics. Called OKC. Called the Wolves. West, I've got everything right except for going with my heart and picking the fucking Lakers. And everybody else in the East I got. So the Knicks messed me up. Man, real bad. But 5-3, not terrible. The series that we have left is Minnesota and Denver, which we'll get to in just a minute. Indiana and New York, which I think is going to be a great series. Actually, I do think New York's the tougher team. I'm probably going to end up picking New York, but we'll see by the end of the episode. Boston and Cleveland, which struggled with Orlando. Orlando is good. I said it. I told y'all, man, Orlando is better. I think they were better than Cleveland as far as their talent and as much talent that they have, just that experience. Cleveland was down Jared Allen. I don't think it would have went that far had you had Jared Allen for the last 3 games. We'll keep an eye on his injury and see if he's going to be ready to go for the next series. Who else is playing out there, man? Cleveland, Boston. Wow, having a super brain fart. Knicks and Pacers. Yeah, that's it. And in the West, you got the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, and you got OKC and the Dallas Mavericks. Okay. Let's go into the OKC and Dallas Mavericks series. Let's start with that one first. First up, it's going to be a great series. It's really going to depend on the others on the OKC. I think Shaq loves to call them the others. I agree with him. It can't be just Shea because Dallas has too many weapons. But one thing that I think OKC has to their advantage is they are a great defensive team. Dallas is a better defensive team. I don't think they're great. They're much better with the additions of Gafford and P.J. Washington. Derrick Jones Jr. looks great over there with them. Luka's even playing a little defense. Kyrie, I'm so impressed with Kyrie this year, man. Just his leadership, how he's handling everything. You can see it on the court. He's not all hyped up and super hype and running around and yelling. And he doesn't get down and cry about something if it doesn't go his way. I mean, he's going to complain to the official, which he should be able to, to a certain extent. But just really impressed with him overall. I'm impressed with the Mavs. Been impressed with them. But I like the Mavs in this series. OKC has some really good players. I think Chet is going to be the key to the series. If Dallas can some kind of way keep him from being effective, I think you're going to have to lean more on Shea as far as scoring. Now, they got, Jalen Williams. They got the other Williams kid that comes off the bench. The other Jalen, Lou Dort. I mean, they got some great pieces. Josh Giddey is a glue guy. He can push the ball. He doesn't have to kill you with points. They got a lot of weapons over there, man. It's going to be a great, great series, but I do like Dallas in that series. The next series is kind of unfair because Minnesota kind of spanked Denver Saturday night. And the sexy pick is everybody's picking Minnesota, which they look amazing. Anthony Edwards is as advertised. I can't say enough about Anthony Edwards. I said it on the show. If you've been watching, that's my guy. When LeBron retires, that's my guy. And that's who I'm cheering for in the playoffs, honestly. I like what Brunson is doing. I think it's a lot of talented players that you could follow and be like, hey, I'm a fan of this guy. I think that's a misconception. Like, the NBA is getting solved. Is this. There's a lot more stars in the NBA than people give credit for. Jalen Brunson is being considered as the greatest Knick ever after winning one playoff series. Is he the greatest Knick ever? Not after one playoff series. But I do think you have to give Jalen Brunson his props and the rest of that team, period. DiVincenzo, Josh Hart has been big for them. The backup, Mitchell Robinson, Harkenstein, everybody stepped up, and they're missing Julius Randle, and they're still finding a way to get it done. It's a lot of talent, man. It's a lot of talent. Of course, Minnesota has a lot of talent, but getting back to the Denver and Minnesota series, I'm going to take Denver, and I know that's going to be the pick that doesn't make any sense. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that Denver laid down the way they did, but I'm going to give them credit as being the champion, being able to turn another gear. I don't think they took Minnesota lightly, but I don't think they were prepared for what happens. Minnesota's a great defensive team. They really are. They're really good. With Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns down low, you got Kyle Anderson coming off the bench. You got Naz Reid, Alexander, Mike Conley. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And Ant-Man is actually playing defense. That's the thing. He's not out there just shooting all the shots. Like, he's going up, blocking shots. He's causing problems. He's asking to guard the best guy. It's a lot of problems, and I want Minnesota to win. My dream Western Conference Finals would be OKC and Minnesota going head-to-head to see who goes to the finals. That would be my dream. I just don't think it's going to shake out that way. You know what? Nah. I'm not taking Denver, man. Ant-Man has been killing, man. I'm going Minnesota. Yes, I said Denver was the best team in the West. And until somebody beats them, they are. They are the defending world champions. So that's not an untrue statement, but I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid too. And I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid, the Ant-Man Kool-Aid, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Minnesota in that series. I like Minnesota and Dallas playing in the Western Conference Finals. On the Eastern side of things, I like the Knicks. I like Indy. If you've been following the podcast, if you're a subscriber and you've been paying attention, I've been screaming about Indy all year, and they hit that spurt after after the All-Star weekend, and they just looked terrible for a while. And they looked terrible early in the Bucks series, but I think we have to consider Giannis and Dame didn't play half of the series. Not saying they would have won because Indy definitely had their number in the regular season, but that is a lot. Whereas the Knicks, I thought a lot of people, including myself, picked them to lose because of Embiid, because they had the star power. They had Oubre. Philly had their pieces, man. Their pieces didn't show up, but Philly had their pieces, and the Knicks still found a way to win in 6. So, yeah, I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks to get out that series. I definitely like Boston to beat Cleveland. Cleveland's going to give them a run for their money. I'll give Cleveland a game or two, but I think Boston is on a different level, and they get to the Eastern Conference Finals pretty easily. So we got Knicks, Celtics in on the Eastern Conference Finals, and we got the Wolves and Dallas in the Western Conference Finals, which should make for a very good Western Conference Finals. I've been impressed with the playoffs so far. I'm not sure how y'all feel about that, but I've really been impressed with the physicality. The referees are not blowing their whistle for every little thing. They're not falling for every flop. I told you, they're just calling it different. Now, good and bad, you got to accept some of the bad with that. That means they're going to miss some calls. That means that, if you're cheering for Minnesota and Ant-Man goes to the line, he goes to the hole, he may get fouled and they're not going to call it. They definitely didn't call the and one when he dunked on KD, and he got hit in the head, I think. I don't even think they called that and one. They might have. I can't remember. Y'all know I'm a stoner, so I might have that particular fact wrong. Definitely somebody in the comments fact check me. That's cool. I ain't tripping. I ain't mad at the fact check at all, man. But I do. I've been impressed with the playoffs. We only had one series go 7 games, which was the one that ended today, Orlando and Cleveland. I can't say enough about Orlando, man. They have a lot of cap room. I believe they have a lot of draft picks. I think they found their guy as a coach. I think they found their culture. And that team grew up a lot today. It's going to hurt right now, but they'll be back, and I think they'll be better next year, especially if they can stay healthy. That's a good team. That's a really good team. I do like what they got going on, but Cleveland moves on. Like I said, Boston is just too much for Cleveland. And again, Donovan Mitchell's been playing out his mind. I think he dropped 50 in game 6 and dropped 39 a day. So almost 90 points in 2 games. He's been on a tear. He's going to need to continue that tear, especially if Jared Allen isn't coming back. But Boston's missing Kristaps Porzingis. So that's a big piece that they're missing. But should be a entertaining series. I think the most entertaining series is going to be the Knicks and the Pacers, just because of the history there. Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing. Melo has gone against the Pacers when they had Paul George and those guys. It's a storied rivalry, and it's gonna be fun to watch. The Minnesota-Denver series is gonna be very interesting, and I might regret picking Minnesota if Denver pulls this off. But Denver, the reason why I'm gonna go ahead and take Minnesota, honestly, everybody said the Lakers are trash, right? Well, the Lakers beat the shit out of the Denver Nuggets, I'd say 80% of the game. And they lost in 1 quarter or a half a quarter every game. And they're not going to be able to come back like that on Minnesota. They are built to come back like that, but Minnesota is prepared to throw another punch. They have other pieces. They can turn it up defensively. They match up well. Jokic is the only big guy, and you got Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns down there. So I think they're going to be outmatched, man. Shout out to Jizzle. Jizzle been screaming the young teams. These young boys is ready, man. I guess I'm getting old. I said they're going to have to show it to me. Minnesota is showing it to me, and they're making me a believer. OKC has a chance to show it to me, too. I think it's going to be a little bit too much Luka and a little bit too much Kyrie, but we'll see how that breaks down. I know I keep screaming T's and trees for y'all, man. It's coming. I promise. The T's and Trees clothing line is coming very soon, man. It's just, I ain't a millionaire. This shit costs money, man. I just told y'all, man, we just kicked down to buy my son a car, so life takes over. But I'm going to keep dropping the facts. I'm going to keep dropping my opinions, man. If you're already a follower or a subscriber, we appreciate you. If you're not following the High Skies Visions page on Instagram, definitely check in. Follow that one. Share, please. And also you can check out our Facebook page. The Front Office Podcast, which is doing pretty well. Actually, we got a lot of subscribers on that one. That's when we drop I drop my daily picks on that one. We drop a lot of memes and things of that nature. The podcast thing, it is really, really, really like therapy for me. I get to talk about this, and I'm not arguing back and forth with fucking idiots on Facebook. No offense if you took this as, I'm not talking about you, then I'm probably talking about you. But if you know your shit and, you can talk in an intelligent way and have an intelligent conversation, cool. I want all that smoke. But the goofy shit, just saying stupid shit to get a reaction, man, grow up. You know what I mean? I'm 44 years old, bro. I'll be 44 in July, man. I'm not here for that. So, but all of my YouTube subscribers, man, we got a new series coming up with the golf. It's going to be live in action, in-cart confessional. It should be fun, man. I played golf with my fellas today, man. Had a good time over there at Fort Jackson, so that's always a good vibe. we got a lot of things coming this summer, man. I promise y'all, interviews dropping this summer. Now I'm ready, and I can't really get people in here because they got busy. They got camps. They got stuff going on. So I promise you, I got a lot of guests lined up. We do have a new personality coming to the show. We're not getting rid of Elwood. Elwood is still home team. That's my guy. But we are adding somebody. Her name is going to be Katie Murphy, or her name is. It's not going to be. Her name is Katie Murphy. She is a coworker of mine, very talented, very smart. I think the contrast between me and her is gonna be dope, especially when we start bringing in the interviews. So you can look forward to that, man. I am hoping and praying that Teas and Trees drops by July 1st. We shall see. We shall see. I'm gonna get some prototypes, man, probably next week, and I'll be able to sport them. If you're wondering why I got a polo shirt on, it's because my Teas and Trees shit is dirty and I need to wash it. It's been a long fucking day, man. I'm about to get up out of here. It's your host, Marcus Cameron, man, Front Office Podcast. Peace.